What's up, guys? Cruz from THP here, and I just want to weigh in and give my 2 cents on this whole Senate Bill 20 thing. And as much as this does absolutely attack the anime community, it also attacks all kinds of artistic form and expression, as well as attacks your rights as a citizen. Like anybody in Texas, and if they had it their way, anybody in the fucking country would have their human rights violated, their constitutional rights violated. And that's nothing new in Texas. Human rights violations and, oppression of the people. This is just par for the course in the Lone Star State. Trust me, I fucking know. And it's bullshit, but it's an unfortunate part of how goofy our country can be. But speaking of just absolute utter stupidity, this bill is fucking hilarious in one way or another. It's pretty serious, kinda, because what they're trying to do is fucked up. So let's talk about government oppression and how they want to control and censor you. If this video does get removed from YouTube, I'm going to be going on a crazy fucking crusade because you never know how deep pockets go. But with all the political bullshit, which I normally try to stay out of, this is one of the things that I have to just put my fucking foot down on, man. I have to show how absolutely stupid it is, and that they've been trying this for a long time, and they have been failing. This was a couple days ago. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who is, second fiddle to the other big evil here, him and fucking Hot Wheels are all in the same boat. They passed a bill that will be moving up to the Supreme Court, where it will 9 out of 10 be shot down. Because they tried this before, just in a different way. So as you can see, the bill is framed as stopping AI-generated, let's just say, CSAM material. And that's actually a really good thing. I think a lot of AI-generated imagery as a whole should be cut down and destroyed, However, in this bill, they also sneak in a bunch of little wordings and just arbitrary bullshit that is really hard to understand. There's a lot of vague terms that just don't make any actual sense when you get down to it. It's not just AI generated or having used a computer to generate it, which, let's be real, every artist, every TV show on every Netflix, fucking streamable bullshit, everything is using computers to create media. It is how the world works in 2025. But what they're doing here is they're saying that it's not just the AI generated stuff. They snuck in a little bits of bullshit that they've tried to pass before, and the Supreme Court turned it down. They overruled it. I don't know the exact blah, blah, blah. I'm not about doing that. I got to make this video fast so I can go work on my other videos so I can keep the entertainment coming. Subscribe, like, comment, do all that stuff. But this bill doesn't clearly define what they are trying to outlaw entirely. They're giving a very vague description on it. There's no qualified distinction there. There's also a lot of things in the bill that are left up for interpretation and can be used for oppression, like the words intent to view and promotes. Promotes, for example, could be simply the selling of these items. Imagine if they were to hit retailers like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or your local mom and pop bookstore, if any of those still exist, because they stocked that copy of ReZero that you wanted to buy. In other countries all over the world, books do get pulled. Things like Goblin Slayer and other, anime that could tend to have pretty mature or racy themes, they tend to get pulled a lot. It doesn't really happen in the US as much, but these douchebags want to change that. Pete Flores, Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, they are all the fucking devil. They want to control the media that you're allowed to see. You know who else did that to me when I was a child? The Christians. There's a reason why I grew up to not really follow that. I left Christianity. My parents were all about it, so they might still be. But my other members of my family were very hardcore Christian. And what they would do is tell my parents that, like, Pokemon, for example, was the devil. They were little demons, and I was worshiping them as false idols to follow the way of Satan. And that is something that not just other family members were saying, but the pastors of the church. We would, my brother especially was once, he questioned a pastor at a church about the dinosaurs and stuff and, the scientific sides of things. And the pastor was like, well, the dinosaur fossils and bones and footprints that you're learning about in school, all of that was fabricated by the devil to make you think that God doesn't exist and that science is the way that we did evolve. And it was okay. Now, I'm not hating on Christianity. Guys, do you. I support all religions. I support my Muslim friends. I support my, Christian family. Like, it's neither here nor there. I just don't want to be a part of it. These guys are doing exactly that. They are pushing their own personal values out there. And when it says cartoons and animation, think about this. A copy of Family Guy could potentially become illegal. Don't believe me? Here's some clips.
Boy, clothes sure are a prison, aren't they?
Meg and Kent are having space sex. We can't show it, but that's what's happening.
Chris, what are you doing?
Getting scraped to death by my zipper? Come on, girls, let's go upstairs and make out.
Oh no, Connie's been hurt. I guess I should lie on top of her to keep her warm. What are you looking at? It's a cartoon.
All of that falls under these really vague distinctions in this bill. Now, you can't censor art. Art is an expression of the person. And I had a conversation with somebody last night who really made some great points. He said that art being the expression of the artist, what is art? That's what it is. If these AI machines that are being told what to crank out, the, algorithms and hoop-de-ha, coding, blah, 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 all this crap, that's not a human being. These images that are being created by AI and all this deepfake stuff, those are not art, no matter how you slice it. You can't call it art because there's no artist to express themselves to create it. Like if one of the examples he gave me was a can. I was drinking a beer. If I were to bend this can and crush it into a shape, I can say this is art. This is the expression of my anger towards Dan Patrick. This is what I want to do to his ball sack. But if a machine were to do the exact same thing, for example, have a fresh can, put it in that machine, and the machine crushes it in the exact same way, even identical to what I made, or, like with AI, an interpretation of what I made, it would not be art. There is no expression. A machine can't be an artist, henceforth. AI-generated stuff can't be considered art. So I think that CSAM material that is created with AI, especially because you have to feed images into AI, and that's really fucking disturbing. Just the amount of Google and YouTube workers I've seen traumatized, like there's so much. Seriously, go under the surface, use another search engine and just look up how fucked, this stuff really is. I think that would be great because AI generated CSAM material is not art. Therefore, it's not protected. Much like shows like Family Guy, or there's lots of Disney movies where Disney characters are sexualized. Don't believe me? More clips.
No new seashells. I gotta admit, I can't put my foot on it right now.
She's been turned into a human. She's gotta make the prince fall in love with her, and he's gonna kiss her.
And she's only got 3 days.
This is just a thing that happens. And there's always been crusades against anime for their depictions of underage characters, and we're gonna get to that. All they have to do is rewrite the bill, because they're trying to sneak it in the fine print that they can censor, whoever sells or watches or owns this kind of stuff. And how does that even work retroactively? Are they going to come in and jail you for that Family Guy Season 2 box set you got on your mantle? Like, how far could it actually go? It is so stupid and so right infringing that it's just another way that they're trying to control what people can see. I don't know where their minds are actually with all of this, but if this were 100% about AI-generated CSAM material and stuff, absolutely pass this bill. But the way it's written now, it's gonna get thrown out because anybody with a brain can look at that and say, wow, you want to do what now? How many amendments do you want to break? Oh, shit. Like, we have something called the Constitution in the US, and you just can't fuck with that no matter how hard you try. You also got to think about where this can come from. For example, there was a article I was reading. Hang on, I'm tired of looking at this red bullshit. I was reading an article, and I think it was the Moms of Liberty or whatever, some other group or other that wanted to remove manga from their school libraries or whatever the shit, which when I was a kid, I used to go pick up Inuyasha and Ranma 1/2 volumes at my local library. Think about that. If you buy a volume of Inuyasha not knowing that there's plenty of upskirt shots and Kagome's full titties right in front of your face, how do you know that, you know, you're breaking a law there? A law that they want, guys, we didn't talk about the punishment. A law that they want to enforce a felony charge on. I don't know if you guys know the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony, but one of them is really, really fucking bad, and it doesn't just go away with money. It ruins your life as well. There is so much there that just makes me look at this bill. The bill, Senate Bill 20, gets funnier and funnier every time I look at it and think about the possibilities of what would happen in Cuckoo Bananas Land where this shit actually gets pulled. In fucking Bizarro World, Dan Patrick is probably the king, okay? This is so bullshit, dude. It just makes me laugh. But it was this group, right? And they were saying that in the library, and no examples, by the way, we have no receipts. They didn't mention titles of these books. We don't have any proof that what they said is true. But they said that they found women getting raped by demons, which I don't know how I'm going to censor that. I could just say abused, but like, it's pretty fucked up that that's the wording that they used, as well as little boys performing sexual acts on each other. Now, can you tell me in Naruto or Demon Slayer where that is? Because I'm a little concerned. This does bring up another topic that I want to push here soon. I'm actually having a lot of fun going full circle with a lot of this bullshit and just laughing at it. But yeah, they said they found that in their local library and their kids were having this material pushed on them. This is why they want the degenerate anime, that is a quote, all of the degenerate anime such as Unico and Assassination Classroom out of the schools. It's also worth noting that the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh has also been attacking people who like anime. That's something I saw in this article too. Absolutely funny. He says that the entire medium is satanic, which means if you like anime, you worship the devil. He also goes on to say that only obese men like it. So women, you're out. My gender neutrals and all my friends in the LGBTQ plus community, you're all out. And to all the guys who are not overweight, congratulations. You are dancing with the devil and watching Dragon Ball Z. Which just goes to show how these mindsets go. Like they jump out and say these, how do people like this get jobs where they have to talk and like interact with the public and like press-related job? Daily Wire. Ugh. Okay, look. I've had enough of this bullshit. If you can't see that this is so goofy that it's gonna get thrown out, I mean, there really isn't much of a worry here. However, it is a really serious issue because, you know, it's not just with media that they're trying to control. They're trying to control what gender you can be. They're trying to control who you can and cannot have a relationship with. It's fucking disgusting. And, you know, I have friends who have fled Texas. I have friends who want to flee Texas. I don't want to live in this back-ass state, and I fucking hate to say that because this is my home. But I felt more at home in my 4 years in Louisiana than I've done in my entire rest of my life in Texas. And that says a lot. It's fucking sad. And, you know, I hope Dan Patrick falls and trips, breaks his fucking shins and, you know, whatever else, dude. I hope you the worst, my friend. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching the video. I'm all talked out. I don't want to be so heated. I'm going to go smoke another joint, which is legal. THCA, another Texas thing. Y'all got to focus on the real laws that you don't actually see getting behind you instead of all this fake shit. I'm gonna go smoke one and I'm gonna probably watch a movie or play some games. I'm gonna chill after my next hour or so of editing this crap. I want this video out now. Thanks for joining. See you next time. Peace out.